Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a t-shirt quilt out of old t-shirts that you may have, and yeah, so let's get started. So what you're going to need for this project is a whole bunch of t-shirts. I'm just using a lot of shirts that I got from my high school, and then I have a ruler and some scissors. You're also going to need a sewing machine and the choice of color thread you want to use. I'm just using blue because it's a lot of blue in my shirts. And then I also got some backing that I got from Joann's. I probably got it from Joann's. And then some like blanket material, as well as ribbon just to put on the outside just to make it more clean. Once you have all those materials, you kind of want to figure out what shirts you want to use. I'm using 40 shirts in this project, so it's like a medium size. And then I'm just taking a ruler so I can have like a clean cut, and I'm just seeing how far I want to cut out the logo because I don't really need all this excess t-shirt. And then as you can see, I cut out the logo, so ASI, I just cut out that little logo, and I'm going to do it to all the shirts. So here are all our shirts once I have done all of that. And I kind of separated the shirts into sizes. So I just put them in different like sizes for the amount of shirts that I want to be in each row. And then after that, I just kind of sized the shirts to make sure they're the same length on the side, so it wasn't like too much on one shirt and then too little on the other. So I just took these shirts and I just like cut down the sides so I can have them at the same length just to make sure that they were all fine. Once I did that to all the shirts, I just started to put them in the order that I wanted them to be in. As you can see, I put all the shirts like lined up straight on the right, and then I have all these shirts on the left, which I need to add more shirt to it. So all I did was just find the shirts that I needed to. I measured it out and I grabbed some extra fabric and I just attached it to that shirt just to make sure that it was the same length as the other ones. And here you can see like it added the same length as it was to make sure it's in this like a straight line. Once that was all done with the shirts, then I started to pin all the little sections together, and then I began to sew everything. So this is just the little length, and I see this is what it's going to look like after it's been sewn. So I just put the shirts like outside together so they could have like a clean middle, I guess. So I just sewed down the little sides just so they were attached together. So this is the full length of my row, and I think I did 5 shirts in each row, and then I did like 9 shirts down, so it's 40. And then once I was done with all of that, this is just all the rows that I have that I already sewed. Once the rows are sewed, all I was doing next is ironing each row because I kind of want it to be a little, not as wrinkled. But with these shirts, I figured out that it was like leaking onto my iron because these shirts are like not the type of shirts to be ironed. So I kind of just did a little bit. I didn't really like iron that much. But after that, I was trying to make them straight enough because now I'm going to be attaching each row together. So as you can see, I have the insides in, and they're just attached on the bottom, and then I just sewed the panels together, and you're just gonna keep repeating that until your entire blanket is pretty much sewn together. So once I have finished all the panels, this is like I think halfway done, just showing you what it looks like. But this is the entire blanket of shirts in the front all sewn together. So now we're going to be working on the back. Alright, so this is the backing, and this is just used just to make sure the shirts don't really move that much to give the extra strength. So I just laid it out on the floor. There's a lot of it. And then this is my little section that I'm only using, and I'm probably going to be making another quilt again for my boyfriend's shirts. So I'm glad that I have a lot of extras so I can use that. But I just cut it out, and I left like an inch or two around the edges just to make sure I had enough. And then after that, I just pinned it onto the back, and then we're just gonna sew it on all around the edges. Once all the outside was sewn, I am just cutting all the extra off. So as you can see, we don't need as much anymore. We just need that backing with the shirts. So this is just what it looks like with it added. And there is some extra like shirt on the outside, but I wanted to leave at least a ½ inch around the outside so nothing like frays or falls off. And then once that is done, I'm just going back and sewing in the middle of the shirts in some sections. Just to make sure that they don't slide as much. So as you can see on the back, there's just the rows that I did. I just went down the rows and just sewed them down onto the backing so it would look better. And once you feel that your backing is all set, we're ready to move on to the final, which is the actual backing, so the blanket part. So I had the perfect length and width, so I just cut that out and I just pinned it all around. This one I'm just going to be sewing around the edges. I'm not going to sew down the middle like I did with the backing, because this one I just want to have a clean back. So once I got them all pinned, then I just sewed them onto the shirts. And then of course I just cut out the extra because you don't need that much. So I'm just cutting off all this extra like flap that we have, because now we're going to be adding the ribbons to the outside. Alright, so I mean you can leave your blanket like this if you want, but I'm just adding ribbon because I wanted to have a little more clean look on the outside and give it some more detail. So I just used blue ribbon on the longer sides, and I actually ran out. I didn't realize I didn't have that much, so then I had to go back to the store and I got red ribbon to put on the tops just to give it more, I guess, dimension. So this is just the red ribbon, and I just added some like the sides right there, like I made them flapped over so it would still be like a folded edge. But after that, your blanket is all done. This took me a while, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be leaving a detailed description in the box. Thank you guys. To you guys about jobs and working, and just like how you can get started into beginning like new jobs, or getting a second job or third job, or